So we'll be looking at the social studies curriculum and how it's being improved in every classroom right now. Sir?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sir Lyndon Green, a teacher at Arapaka Primary School for the past 9 years.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to ask you which class you're teaching in?
So currently, I am in the grade 4 classroom at this point.
All right, sir. What do you notice about the recent changes in the social studies curriculum?
So over the years, we would have had this curriculum, and it was more like textbook. A lot of information would have required textbook.
Yeah.
Now that the curriculum is revised, it's more on the local content. It gives the children a first-hand experience, and more so they introduce a lot of technology into it. So it's no longer like they have to depend on the textbook for information. They have first-hand information, first-hand activities be done.
Thank you, sir. What are your thoughts on the new teaching method and classroom activities that have been introduced?
Well, I believe it is positive, it is meaningful, it engages the student, and it also helps them with their social communication skills.
Thank you very much, sir. In your view, how connected is the updated social studies content to students' daily lives in Guyana?
Well, for me, I think it is very relative because of the fact that it has a lot of, it teaches you a lot of real life experience. You have a lot of topics about community, nationwide, country at large.
Thank you very much, sir. Do you find the classroom activity like group work, projects, or classroom discussions suitable for your students?
Well, yes, I would say yes, because it allows them to carry out projects, it allows them to participate, it allows collaborations, especially with other pupils and so forth.
So, in terms of social studies projects with your classroom, do you think you get through good in social studies project?
Yes, because of the size of the class, and when you give them projects, well, they now will have to go on their own to research information, and they will have to bring it back to the classroom and also share it with the other class.
Thank you very much, sir. How do you find the new way of accessing students such as project works or ongoing assessment?
And then you have next go again.
How do you find the new ways of assessing students such as project works or ongoing assessment?
Well, it's more like an ongoing assessment. It's more like you keep going on, you keep giving more information, which allows the student to do more research on their own.
Okay, sir. Have you received any form of training to help you teach the revised social studies curriculum? Yes, sir.
Well, yes, from time to time we will have workshops and we will have that focus on social studies, especially when this curriculum was revised. There were a lot of trainings when it comes to the curriculum to execute it.
How would you rate the how would you rate the how would you rate the adequacy of this training?
Well, in my view, I believe the adequate of it is somewhat, and it's there, right? Um, I would say that we will need that training because after revising the curriculum, we would have need more information. We would have need to be equipped before we go back to the classroom because I consider it to be something new and you would have had to get training to execute it.
All right, so based on that information, would you like to give a little info on before and now?
Well, before the curriculum would have revised, as I said earlier, is that it was a lot of textbook related information.
Mhm.
Now that it is revised, it has a lot of real life situations where the children get to understand better, because when you teach the curriculum, it will allow them to understand real life based situation, and also topic that touch inside the curriculum has a lot to do with social issues as well too.
Thank you, sir. Have you noticed any reluctance or pushback from teachers regarding the new social studies curriculum?
Well, I don't. I haven't noticed any, because it's more fun. Now the new curriculum, it has a lot of technology. So the minute a child has a gadget, maybe a phone or a tablet or computer, they can just type in their little links, and also have additional information to go with the topic that you're currently teaching.
Thank you, sir. What difficulties or challenges do you believe teachers encounter as they try to implement the new curriculum?
Well, as for our end in the interior, I'll speak of the interior,
Yeah.
is that we have a lot access of teaching material like curriculum technology. We will face a challenge with technology, a large class. So when we have a large class, we would have limited time spent with these children. So time constraint as well too. So those are some of the things, that challenges that we would face.
I like that you say time constraint, because we know that we don't have a lot of time. Like, we would get an hour for mathematics and an hour for science, and we only get 25 minutes for social studies. So that is not a lot of time, especially dealing with a big class.
Right.
What type of teaching materials or resources do you have access to for supporting the new social studies curriculum?
Well, what we do have to support this new curriculum is that we have relative textbooks to go with this curriculum.
Yeah.
It's not overpacked, rather than it's focused on the main concept of what you want to get over to the children.
Yeah.
We may all, some persons may also be able to access the links, not all, but some may be able to do so. And television, we also have the television in the class. So if the children or if the pupils don't have the gadget at home and they're in the classroom, we use the television and we show them, the necessary pieces pertaining to the topic.
And it's nice that we have this social studies curriculum, we have the hands, hard copy, and also I'm sure you have it soft copy.
Yes, so the curriculum is not hard. If, for example, if a day you come to school and you forget it home, or you would be able to pull it up on the internet. It's very easy to access. It is there, and probably you can even print the page that you're actually focusing on that day.
And then clicking on the link that is in
Exactly.
the lesson also,
Right,
so you
right.
don't have to go looking for a link to teacher relevant topics.
And another thing too is that sometimes you explain certain things to the children and they don't understand. Not all the time the children would understand everything.
Depends on the geographic
Right.
location
So
also.
in their own little quiet time, they go back to those links and they click on it. They listen to it. That would help them to understand even better.
Thank you, sir. How confident do you feel about teaching the new social studies curriculum?
Well, I'm very confident in teaching this new social studies curriculum, and it's not packed. There are more activities which allow the children to do more research. So I'm very confident in teaching it.
Lastly, sir, what recommendations do you have for improving the new social studies curriculum is putting into practice?
Well, what I would want to recommend is that the availability of internet to the children, or gadgets to the children, as well if we can have organized trips, field trips, so that the children can have a more first-hand experience.
Yeah.
Take for example, if they're looking at monuments, most of the monuments are in the city of Georgetown, and it would be so good if we can, organize trips for these children to go there to see the actual thing what we're talking. Even though we have links so that we can look at, we can see it, but to be realistic, you take them there to see the actual monument.
Thank you very much, sir, for participating in my little interview, and your information was very much